everybody, and welcome here to another Kerfuffle Showcase. And I'm absolutely delighted, excited indeed to have Nitin Agarwal here, CEO and founder of Property Deals Insight. How are you, sir?
Hey, hi, Simon. I'm very well, very well. How are you doing?
Really good, really good. Into the new year, all excited, looking at all these wonderful new products that are going to help us and our clients get their unfair share of the market.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we are very, very excited. There has been some really key announcements and developments on our side. I would be very, very happy to share more about them.
Well, that's what we're here for, isn't it? That sounds absolutely perfect. So let's kick off then. Let's get the briefest of overviews here. I always like to understand, you know, what the reason was for starting up the business and what your kind of background. Can you just give us a bit of that sort of origin story? What was it that made you wanted to set up Property Deals Insight in the first place, in your background?
Absolutely. More than happy to do that. So I actually started Property Deals Insight just before, just around the time when COVID happened. So we're like a COVID baby. My background is into technology and corporate. I have been kind of leading some of the largest solutions in some of the largest tier one organizations. I have basically been in charge or helped people in shaping up the future of the entire UK's payment industry. So I've done some close to like £100 billion project before we kicked off this thing. What I basically was always doing was I was investing into property, selling or buying properties, etc. as a landlord. And I was always facing some challenges because within the property industry, I found there was a lack of transparency, which kind of meant a lot of people who wanting to do deals or are actually looking to buy are in the end put off by things or the lack of transparency. Coming from a technology background, I thought that's definitely not where you want. I mean, in today's day and age, it's just not acceptable. So I initially came up with a solution for myself, so I can do my due diligence quickly. But soon enough, I found this was an industry-wide problem, and I decided to roll it out to the wider network. Initially, started off with landlords, a number of we have thousands of landlords who were using the platform, and then also rolled it out to the wider estate agency market and lettings as well. So we do have a wide variety of customers we serve, but our main focus now going forward is around the estate agency space.
Brilliant. So it's one of those great stories, really, that this is, as you said, a COVID baby, but actually was also a baby created out of a real challenge, your own experience, your own frustrations with what you weren't able to get in the marketplace at the moment. And like so many of the great businesses out there, you've created your own solution to the problem you were facing.
Absolutely, and I think that is exactly, I mean, as they always say, the great solutions are for always when there's a real need, and ultimately when you're trying to solve a need for customers, and it's not just my need. And I think we get hundreds or thousands of customers who come in, whether they are individual landlords or they are actual businesses, small estate agencies, independent ones, and even some of the largest chains coming to us. It's all about giving them the solution, and also allowing agents to actually give their clients what they need. So what we've tried to do is basically, as at Property Deals Insight, we try to bridge the gap between the agents and the vendors, and basically bring the transparency to the UK market. What we've done is we basically provide data and insights into the whole of the UK market, and we got the over 29 million properties on the system, which allows us to actually give them the insights and solve some of the key pain points which we see agents face.
And you were, when we caught up before and had a look at the product demonstration, and as I said to you, hats off. You know, UI and UX is really important these days, if it hasn't always been. But you've really thought that through. It's a really nice, clean-looking system. And on one of our next follow-up ones, we're going to go into it in a bit more detail, aren't we? But just on that basis, though, one of the things you were proudest about was the quality of data, wasn't it? And that's when in any of these different products that's out there, often that's the defining factor, isn't it, as to whether they're successful or not. You can have the best UI in the world, but if the data doesn't stack up, that's all for nothing, isn't it? But you feel really confident you've really nailed that part of it. Is that right? Is that fair to say?
I think that's absolutely spot on, and glad that you guys love the UI. I think we've put in a lot of time and effort trying to do that. I think the way we've gone about it is we've actually tried to perfect the product first before we actually started shouting out about it, because there are a lot of companies who come out, nice flashy UI, a lot of marketing, and then when you scratch the surface, it doesn't really work. But with
Hang
us,
on,
it's
you're not
been
having
the
a
other
go
way
at
around.
Kerfuffle there, are you, in knitting? That's not a dig. That's not a dig at Kerfuffle. We're very,
Absolutely not.
we are very shiny. We're very pleased of it. I know exactly what you mean, though. This, and actually, that really frustrates agents, doesn't it? They get pulled into the marketing spin of a lot of these packages, and then you scratch beneath the surface, and it just doesn't quite deliver, does it? Or it's too difficult as well, isn't it? There's a lot of packages. I'll come on to the onboarding later on, but there's some of them where they just didn't have any idea of how much work was involved getting set up. And both of those can really be the downfall of a product and a prop tech product in an estate agency.
I think that's actually spot on. And I guess this is where, when I did start the business, I mean, I come from the background of where I've done some of the largest programs in the world, as I mentioned. So I knew the challenge it required, and it was a challenge which did require me to step in and get my hands dirty, try and steer it. It wasn't like an easy thing. The data quality in the UK is not that great in terms of all the systems. We do get data from all trusted data sources, your likes of Land Registry, Ministry of Housing, EPC data, Ofsted, Ofcom, the portal data, etc., everything. So we actually bring it all together, apply our own algorithm, data cleansing, etc., and trying to make sure we only give high quality data to our clients. Because very often, as you said, a lot of companies, they just start something and then realize actually it's not their cup of tea, and they just struggle to keep data up to date. And we're talking hundreds and hundreds of gigs of data, so it's a lot that happens in the background, which allows us to give the clients so they don't have to be working that hard. We make it super simple for them, give them the data which they need and their clients need.
Well, going on, we've spoken offline a few times about the sort of projects you got involved with. A state agency should be child's play compared to some of those projects you've been done. I'm sure it's got its own challenges, but well, you know, it does. I mean, you know, in all honesty, having that technical understanding of things on a much wider scale does give you a lot of confidence, doesn't it, when you're looking at something that needs to be implemented in a simpler way as possible.
Absolutely, and I think that we always drive it based on what our customer needs. It doesn't matter what we want to build. It's always about what the customer actually wants. So we always listen to the clients. We always listen to agents and what challenges they face. I mean, typically, if you think the number one challenge any company in any industry is everybody wants more leads, everybody wants more instructions. And there are a number of tools and software out there which claim to do some of that. And like we said, it's not always when they actually scratch the surface, you get a tiny bit of that, but then you don't know what to do with it. So what we've taken, the approach we've taken, is we try to address all aspects of the agents and the pain points in terms of who they can target with our razor sharp prospecting and market intelligence tools. Then how can we get them incoming leads, hot leads, right within their website, and how can they actually convert those leads coming in, whether they are coming through our software or directly through their existing channels, with our revolutionary property appraisal reports. And even we go one step further, where we're not just actually helping them win those instructions, we also help them sell those instructions faster, because ultimately that's when everybody gets paid, and also reduces the end-to-end life cycle of a sale. So that's something which we are helping them in a one-stop shop.
So that, I mean, you've chosen a part of the, if it's possible for PropTech to be sexy, you've chosen a part of it that is sexy, though, isn't it? Being able to generate leads and, you know, that lovely front top of the funnel stuff as well that you do so effectively. That's where a lot of agents spend a lot of their time reviewing possibilities. I think I can hear people shouting at me now. Okay, Simon, this is great. They always, as I said, they like to hear about these stuff. But what's the differentiator? Well, of course, first of all, they need to have a look. They need to understand the data, as we said. But without a shadow of a doubt, you feel, and certainly when I looked at this, it feels like the ability to rationalize some of the different products out there that do just a niche, you know, a very narrow part of this, and you're able to get rid of 3 or 4 of those packages or more, aren't you, under one platform? And that has massive benefits, doesn't it? First of all, there's the price benefit. You're not paying for 4 or 5 whatever different packages. But secondly, because it's on one different system, that ability to train people up really well, and they only need to know one system rather than multiple systems, gives you a real ROI just on that basis, doesn't it?
Absolutely, I think that's spot on, and you've hit the nail on the head. Basically, it's about helping, because the last thing agents want is having to be trained in and their staff in a number of different softwares. And I think the job's hard as it is. That they just don't want to be making. The whole point of having the right tools is that it makes their job simpler. If it's actually a case of you are having to try and understand and learn and adapt all these systems, and also the challenges that comes with using different systems than one system. I mean, we do see quite a lot where customers use, let's say, a lead magnet or a valuation widget on their sites, or which tells them X amount of valuation, and then they realize that is wrong, and they actually have another system which gives them a report which tells a different valuation. And the lack of confidence then when you're facing the new client that gives, and that's like almost putting them on the back foot. If you have everything coming in like singing from the same hymn sheet, basically. So essentially, if you want your systems to be all in working in tandem and in parallel, right? So that you want it to be all giving them a single place, a source of truth kind of thing. Also keeps it simpler for you. So when you're using the systems, I'm talking for agents in here, basically when they are using the system, they want it to be all connected. They want that when the lead comes in, they see a certain value, and it shows them a branding in a certain way. And then when they are actually going in with an appraisal request, and then when trying to wow the vendor, it's also got the extension to that. So that basically allows them to actually connect it all together, and the customer feels more confident when they're seeing this. Plus, you don't actually want to be always training your staff with the new software. So it's all like in a single place, and you can actually do it all in one go.
That's really useful to know, Nitin. Thank you. And you, I thought you were googly in terms of, what part of the package do people most get attracted to? And you, with a straight back, you knocked it back to me, and you made the point. Well, really, it depends about what their biggest challenge is, isn't it? Because you've got this package element to it. If it's the fact you need a lead gen tool, you've got something to help out there. If it's about having reports, property reports on those 28, 29 million homes or whatever else, you can deal with that. So, but how do you present it? What do you lead with as what would you yourself say is the main part of your proposition?
I think it's just what you said, actually. I mean, basically, we always drive it, and the conversation is always about, whenever I'm chatting to a customer, I always say, what is it that you guys need? So what is it that you what currently are doing well? What parts are you actually struggling with? And that's how we look at it. I mean, generally speaking, everybody, like I mentioned, want more leads and want to make their life easy and better ROI, etc. So it really depends on and what their current processes are, or how can we help them. Effectively, a lot of them like the lead magnet, because that can tie in nicely with the reports which we provide. So we have our own AVM, and we provide our own valuation reports, which have had very nice reviews, and the branded reports which we provide, which allows agents to actually come across professional and provide data which no other agents can do. That gives them the leading edge when it comes to converting and getting ahead of their competition. But I mean, given the time where we are now, where basically people are struggling with instructions, and it's going to be a little bit tough market, possibly, it's quite important that you get better ROI on your marketing spend, on your prospecting spend. So essentially, we've come up with some really, really cool features in terms of both on market and off market prospecting. That allows you to actually, whether you want to be targeting second instruction during using the on market prospecting tool from your competition in your patch, or you want to actually look at properties which are from vendors not even on the market yet, but are likely to come on, and having to like win those possible clients who are looking for a property, but you don't have stock for them. That allows you to almost generate business using that. So all these things tied together, and you can actually use some of these tools together to combine your existing, whether it's Google PPC, whether it's leafletting, however you're doing your current marketing, whether it's even holdings, etc. You can add a nice QR code which leads them to the lead magnet. So you almost have things working in tandem. So your prospecting ties into your lead magnet, which comes in as a hot lead coming to you, which then allows you to actually look at your reports and dashboard, which allows you to win those instructions and actually ultimately adds a lot more to your bottom line without really changing or without breaking the bank, I should say. In fact, it actually ends up saving a lot more because you're not having to go for so many licenses.
Yeah, it's great. Look, we'll come back to the model in a minute because I do want to focus on that because I think you've really nailed that as well. But the key thing, again, just the other benefit there, apart from that training and the ability to specialize with having all these different essentially product lines and the ability to do different things under the one platform, is the other thing is we're doing our industry survey of what frustrates agents about suppliers at the moment, and every single year we do this without fail. In the top 5 is I get frustrated that my different key partners, my key suppliers, don't integrate with each other. And because you're on the same platform, you've just taken that out, as you just said there, that disappears overnight, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is always, my background, again, being in the technology side, was all around integration. I understand the pain which people see. And I think I've made a career out of integrating different tools with each other. And that's why I wanted to bring a package which actually works, a solution which actually works for customers. We don't want customers to pay for the top package and actually not using it. We want customers to absolutely love what we give them, and we want to help them benefit in their day-to-day activities and business, basically. So that's ultimately what we want to be focusing on.
Cool. I'm going to ask you to do the impossible now. Pretend I'm an absolute idiot, and I was to say to you, look, I kind of get what a lead magnet is, but if pretend I am that idiot and explain to me what the lead magnet does exactly. So for agents out there that might sort of, obviously they're going to think this helps generate them some leads. How does it do that? What is the process? What's the tool and how it delivers?
Absolutely. I think, by the way, I don't think you are an idiot, but I think I'll still try and address that. I think the lead magnet term is very widely used in a way where some sort of a widget or something which can actually allow you to attract the leads, so acts as a magnet to you. Basically, what you want is when vendors are coming in or clients are actually looking at properties, one of the biggest thing still remains is how much can I pay, how much can I get for a certain property. So essentially, having something like a instant valuation or online valuation or desktop valuation, whatever you want to call it, basically having the ability to get something out of it. Nobody now, gone are the days where people say, fill this form and we'll get in touch with you and then we'll tell you if we can come in and see your home. They want something in return. So if somebody's giving someone's giving their detail, they want something in return there and then. So what we've done is we've actually provided a small lead magnet tool which can be branded according to the agent's branding, their colors, their logo, and it comes and sits in on their website rather than having to send them to a third-party website. I mean, we find agents spend a lot of time and money in maintaining and managing their website, driving traffic to their website just to send it to a third party where you actually lose out. And you don't want to do that. I mean, and our lead magnet actually sits within your website, within their existing site, so they can actually fill that form, but then also look at some of the other nice stuff which you may already have on your website that allows them to fill in those details. Customer is happy because they see, their customer is happy because they see an instant valuation of their own, whether it's rentals or sales. And as soon as they fill it in, the agency will get a notification saying Mr. XYZ is interested in looking at this 3-bedroom house in Harrow, let's say, and these are the details which they filled in about the property, and now you've got an incoming hot lead coming to you, and it also shows them and also sends a customer an email with the branding of the agent, and actually that sits in their inbox forever. So essentially, even if they do not convert straight away, they can always refer back to those emails. And we see so many agents saying, actually, we thought the lead died, but then they called us back after a week, 10 days, 20 days, or even months, actually, in some cases. So it's a case of how can you start converting all these casual visitors on your website, which you have been already driving with years of inputs and money you've been spending on your website. How can we start converting these people who were just browsing and you never realized they were possibly interested in your services with the lead magnet, now you can start getting those people convert into instructions and sales.
And I saw you. I mean, I'm not no techie, of course. I'm a complete blagger, but my understanding was how easy that is cutting and pasting that HTML code that you provide the agents with allows them to embed that, the lead magnet onto their own website. I mean, it really is simple as that, isn't it?
Oh yeah, actually, thanks for bringing that out. So I think the last thing you want is agents having to hire or employ IT staff to do all of that. I mean, it's literally a case of, I mean, we give them like already existing code. So it's almost like a zero code plugin that can be deployed or that can be applied on your existing website within literally 1 or 2 minutes. I mean, if we try and help our customers, we don't leave you guys to say you go and figure it out. We try and actually help them. So we will normally onboard the customer and say we can help you, but more and more we are seeing customers do that automatically. So it's just a case of copy pasting a one line of code which we give them that goes onto their existing website, and voila, it just appears on the website.
Brilliant. That's really, really good. And we've mentioned kind of integration, and obviously you don't need to have that with your own products there. That one of the nice things I thought about this is one of those products that comes out of the box and you can get working with it almost instantaneously without, a huge onboarding process. Have you got plans though to integrate with other systems, or I mean, the CRMs are always a logical one to go through. Are those conversations going to happen in the future, or are you just comfortable because it's self-contained that you don't need to have that?
No, I think we never sit on our laurels. So we have a very large API list of APIs which we have. I mean, although they're not all open APIs, but we do have a number of customers who use our valuation APIs, etc., in their existing solutions, whether they are PropTechs and other companies. And we do have a number of property data APIs which are actually being used by other systems to provide some of this. And the beauty of our offering is you can use us as a platform where you can just go in and start using it instantly, or you can actually use our APIs, which can basically then service data in your systems. But equally, we are also in conversation with a number of providers within the industry where we are plugging into their systems, connecting our system with those APIs. We are having some conversations with CRMs, but there are more and more. We are also finding a number of other companies who are looking or the solutions are looking to try and reduce the end-to-end life cycle of a sale from months to a few days, or even hopefully at some stage to one-click property purchase. So that doesn't happen on its own. We have to talk to other systems. We have to bring it all together and make it work. And there are a number of large clients and agency chains which are coming to us and saying, actually, we like X, Y, and Z part of your product. Can you actually customize it and make it work with our existing systems? And I think that is one of the things which we are doing for a number of customers. I mean, for large customers, we do that quite often.
Excellent. Well, that sounds really, really good. Well, let's get on to the model itself, because again, one of the things I like about this is we're caught in a bit of a juncture at the moment where agents are getting really, really frustrated with some of the old charging mechanisms that people do. We all tended to, let's be honest, follow the portals and Rightmove, in particular the office-based charging model and everything else. And there's a lot of new models out there for estate agencies, or you've got super offices that might have 60 people in, and so they're kind of flexing that model as well. You've thought about this in a lot of detail, haven't you? And you've gone for what I feel is a really, really fair mechanism. And it's got to be said, by the way, fantastic value if you do have scale as well. So do you want to just give us a bit of an overview of how that kind of the model works for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the way we have is, I mean, we have the tiered system in terms of like your basic, gold, and premium plans. But within those, you can actually see what features you like, essentially, and then also they are usage based. So effectively, if you're a small agency with not much staff, etc., then you can actually go for one of our lower packages, which gives you a certain number of credits. It's almost like usage based. So essentially, if you are a small business who doesn't actually need the tools for a lot of things, then you can actually go for a lower package here. But if you actually are a business which is using it like a medium, I can call them, then they can go for the gold plans. But if you think your business is very, very busy and you don't want to be restricted by how many times I can actually pull out reports, how many leads can I get? So if you want unlimited number of leads, then you can simply go for the premium plan, and it gives you unlimited access or an unlimited reports, downloads, searches,
I'm
everything.
always a sucker for those unlimited plans. I must admit, I don't like to be limited by much. But look, there's a fairness in the credit system, though, isn't there? That's fantastic. And look, one thing you didn't say, which we do need to say, that bottom package is incredibly competitively priced at £99, isn't it?
Absolutely, and on top of that, you actually get 2 months free when you're going annually. So we don't tie up businesses into long-term contracts. You can go monthly if you wanted to. And actually, if you are going for an yearly plan, then you get 2 months free. So essentially, that's an added advantage. And anybody,
I mean, you can do that. We've chosen to go for a 6-year contract at Kerfuffle, but that if you want to go for a really light touch, that's that's okay.
and I think on top of all of this, actually, we have a 14-day free trial that allows you to play with the different packages. So we do not restrict features when you're in a trial. You can actually go for the high-end package and then come
That's
down.
really good. Yeah, because I mean
Yes.
that's great. You know, a lot of people again in those frustrations I spoke about before, they feel like, well, this doesn't feel like what I was sold to at the demo stage. So you're really taking that completely out of the equation. Go in, see what we've had to say on the subject, feel if the product's right for you, and if you don't have to go ahead, do you?
Absolutely, and I think people are like worried in terms of, oh, I picked the basic package, but I wanted to go for the higher one. Now I can't use it because I've used my trial. We've actually removed that restriction because we want people to try what works for them, so they can actually start low, go higher, or start high, go lower. As long as you can actually come back to the right package within the 14 days, that's it. You don't actually have to be making any calls. You're not kind of another thing I hate about some of the online systems is actually where you have to try and get hold of somebody before you can cancel or change your subscription. Yeah. We make it super simple. We leave the agents in control. They can actually decide what they want, and as simple as that.
God, you're just so fair, and it's honestly you're like a prop tech Robin Hood. So let's just talk to me a bit again about the simple. How easy is it to get onboarded? You know, if you can give us some kind of context about signing up today, how quickly, how many weeks is it before they're kind of hitting the floor running? Also, just after on the second part of that is what does the aftercare look like? Is there obviously there is support? What does that look like? And are you planning to already doing regular updates? So starting off with the basic there, how easy is it to get on board?
I think it's super simple. We are not very secretive in terms of what we offer, so we very, very fair, as you said. What we do is we basically talk to an agent. Let's say if it was you who was basically running a small agency wanting to get on board, we have a conversation. We provide the customer a bit of like understanding, get an understanding of what features they want, and then advise what I think the right package for them could be. They are still in control, and then they can choose. Straight away, they can register for a 14-day free trial, whether you do it before you even chat to us or you do it on the call. So that's literally a 2-minute, basically you signing up process. Right. And once you are signed up, I think we help them configure some of the like branding, and because ultimately it's very important for businesses to get the branding right. They want to make sure that the product they use, it actually makes and looks part of their ecosystem, their tool set, because they don't want it to be like everybody else's product kind of thing. So we have a very nice white labeling option where you can actually add your own branding, remove our logos as well if you wanted to, and also allow you to add your business color. So we can help you with that, but it's a very super simple UI, as you mentioned earlier. Anybody can do it, but we're more than happy to help customers get that set up, and that generally happens within the first 1 or 2 days, really. And they basically good to go.
Is there a setup fee? Is there a initial setup fee?
At the moment, that's all been waived off for anybody signing up for the first 6 months of 2023. So we're trying to help businesses as much as we can.
Good. No, I know our agents hate setup fees, even though they can be justified. So that's great. You've hit the nail on the head there. So that's really good. And afterwards, what does the support look like? And I mean, you've hit the floor running with obviously all these different modules within there. Is the idea to just keep developing them, or are you going to add new ones in as well? What does the future look like for you in 2023?
I think if you possibly I mean if you ask one of our existing customers, then one of the things they absolutely love about us is actually that we don't just sit on what we've sold them. We're always coming up with new features if they are asking. So we're always driven by what our customers want. Although we already have so much covered in the platform that they don't I mean they've got it all set. However, we are always looking at how we can enhance and help our customers, and we keep releasing new features where and as and when we need to. It doesn't impact our existing customers, and we are also topic on being fair. We do make it available for our existing customers as well. So we, if it's part of something for a new customer, then we also give it to the old customers. We are not like one of your typical suppliers where you have to be a new customer, only they get the goodies.
Yeah, that's always very frustrating, isn't it? That's great you've thought that through. That's really, really good. So let's get to the exciting stuff. And sorry, just to be honest, the more exciting stuff, that's been fantastic to understand it. You've got a couple of double whammies for Kerfuffle clients, haven't you? So you've been really, really kind to say that I think Kerfuffle clients are going to get a 10% discounts on those already competitive rates. Is that right?
Oh yes, absolutely. So anybody who comes through Kerfuffle, they will be given a 10% discount on whether it's an yearly or a monthly subscription, so they can actually avail that.
Beautiful, lovely. But then I think this second one is even better, actually. So for people that are looking at really, obviously, we know we're in a more challenging market. You're going to want to be using, you know, the services that you do. And clearly, like so many of the other prospecting tools as well, it has a postcode, a geolocation charging element to it, haven't you? And for Kerfuffle members as an exclusive, you're going to give them, or do you want to just explain how that's working rather than being defined down to just the set postcode areas? You're really opening that up, aren't you?
Absolutely, and I think we want it to be the game changer in that space, because I hate that, and as most agents would possibly do, that they are being charged the initial setup fee or whatever initial cost for some of the other products is low, and then they realize they're ending up with a big bill. For us, it's a flat fee. You actually have complete access to all of the postcodes. You are not limited to a local postcode region or your local postcode. You can actually use the credits which you get in your plan throughout the UK, wherever you basically want to be doing this for. And that's something which we wanted to do for Kerfuffle members, and that's something which you get.
Ace. Well, that really, I mean, for people looking to expand out, looking, you know, really looking to punch into new areas, those larger agents as well that do ground. This is a real. I can see why you've done it now. And to be honest, I've talked myself into realizing why that's really effective. But that's really, really good. So again, we've got a special code for it. So anybody who wants to take advantage of this, please come to me, Simon@kerfuffle.com, or go to the wonderful kerfuffle.com itself. Put in Property Deals Insight on there as well. And you can see there's just an inquire button, and we'll get in contact to help on there. And you can see all the other reviews and interviews we're going to do. Well, I'm excited, and this feels like this is going to be one to watch for very much for 2023. I want to say thank you very much for taking the time to explain to us now. We've got a webinar booked in a few weeks just to actually have a look at things in a bit more detail, haven't we? So I'm always looking forward to that.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me, and it's been a lovely talking to you guys. And I'm really hoping to be chatting to more and more Kerfuffle customers and helping agents in general.
You've heard him, guys. Get inquiring. This is one to watch. Cheers. Thank you, Nitin.
Thank you.
Cheers.